some salmon. So I'm going to show you a classic brine. It's things like our grandparents used to make back in the days. It actually cures the fish. It gets a nice pinnacle on top of it, which is like a nice little crust. And we're going to smoke this. Onto the smoker it goes. So I'm just going to show you a classic brine that's basically 4 parts sugar, 1 part salt, which is going to be 1 cup of salt to 4 cups of sugar. So let's get started on that. I actually learned how to open up the sugar. We'll be all right. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I have here heaping cups. 2, 3, and that's 4 more. And as far as the salt goes, this is basically kosher salt. It's coarse. We're going to use 1 cup of this, 1/4 cup, 1/2 cup. I don't like it to be too salty, so that's the brine I mix. And what we're going to do is actually just mix it up. Mix it nice. So this way, you really can't tell there's actually salt mixed inside the sugar. So we're going to mix it up really good. And you want enough of it so you make sure it actually coats your fish. And then over the top of the fish, we're going to go with this. So let's just move this to the side. Move this over here. Slide this off to the side. And let's get our salmon nice and coated now. What we're going to do is just actually just put this right on top. Our salmon. Make sure it's pretty much submerged in there. And when this gets nice and packed in here, we're going to pack it in. And we're going to let this cure for about 3 days. And how you're going to know when it's cured is that the fish is going to be stiff. It's not going to be limp. You know? Last thing you want is your fish to be limp after 3 days in there. Okay, so let's just, I'm going to take these two and put them right on top of each other. So this way it's like a sandwich. Just fold it in. Put it right in there like that, like a sandwich. This way nothing gets out. And the rest of our brine, we're going to put right on top of here. Like burying it in the sand. So just bury it into the sand. And that's going to be good. Make sure you pack it all in. Slip it underneath the fish as well. And this is going to be very, very good stuff. So we got it nice and packed in. The sugar is going to melt down in here and basically do an excellent job of curing this fish. Old-time recipe. You know, basically this dates way back. Way back. And that's it. So get it nice and packed in here. And once it's nice and packed, we're going to put some plastic over it, and into the fridge it goes for 3 days. 3 days. Okay. Now that we have it pretty much like this, we're going to go over top of this with some plastic wrap. Now, when you're wrapping this with the plastic wrap, you want to make sure you get the plastic wrap and the inside first round. So put the plastic wrap in, tuck it in, get all the salt and the sugar in there, nice and tight. want a tight wrap in here, so this way you know that everything's going to mix in and get it tight. That's your first round. And then your second round, swing this up. And actually just tighten up all around it. Just right over the top. Just like that. All right, and this puppy goes in the fridge for 3 days. Cures for a little bit. All right, so now our salmon's nice and wrapped up. It's going to be ready to go on the smoker in about 3 days. You actually wanted to cure this for about a day. You actually could. It's completely up to you whether you want to actually go 3 days with it. I like a long kind of 3 days. I use a lot less salt and I use more sugar because I like that little sweetness to it. That's just me with my salmon, but perhaps you might want to do it the way you like it, experiment with it, you know, because pretty much there's no two recipes that are exactly the same. So experiment with it, play with it, and see how you feel about it. And who knows, you might make up something better than what's out there. So basically the wheel's been invented already. I'm just bringing you the wheel, showing you how to do it like I was actually taught, and I hope you enjoy it. So on that note, let's get this in the fridge and let's get on to the smoker. This actually is our finished product. As you can see, all of the juice from the salmon has rendered out. This is actually cured the salmon. It's actually sucked out all the moisture. You can actually see all the salt, all the sugar that's in here. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to rinse this off. It's going to be rinsed off with actually cold water. You want to use water as cold as you possibly can to rinse all this off of here. We're going to put it on a rack. We're going to let it dry for about 2 hours and then onto the smoker we go. Okay, our salmon now is washed. And as you can see, it built up this nice, kind of like a ruby color to it, which is like really nice. It's almost like a dark, dark pink, which really is a lot darker than it was last time. But that's what all the brown sugar's setting in and everything else like that. We're going to let this sit out. We're going to let it air dry. Most of the time I do like to put a fan over top of it, just so that it can actually build up this nice crust that's going to be on top after a couple hours, and that's what you're looking for it to be nice and firm up top and build up this little nice kind of sugary feeling crust. This rack right here is actually right off the smoker. You can actually use the rack right off of the smoker too, instead of dirtying anything up and, you know, using anything that you probably don't have around the house. So you could just actually use the rack directly from the smoker. I just put a metal tray underneath. Works well, gets the job done. So onto the smoker we go. Now we're gonna throw our fish onto the smoker. Temperature right now is about 177 degrees. I like normally to smoke at like 160, but at 177, as I open the door up, she's gonna calm down a little bit. So basically, let's get this on. Now you're really not gonna see any smoke because I really haven't put the smoke chips in yet because I don't want to be choked by the smoke right now. So we'll get the fish on into the smoker right now. And then I like to add my chips. What I have here now is I have some applewood and I have a little hickory. That's what I like to smoke, and you can smoke it whatever you like. But I add my chips as the fish goes on. And the chips, by adding the chips, it's going to bring the temperature up a little bit too. So basically, you can adjust your temperature as you actually add your wood. So that's my wood chips right now. It's going to start to smoke right now, and things look good. So it's going to smoke for about 2.5 hours at 170, actually about 2 hours at 170, and then we're going to take it off and we're going to have ourselves a really good meal. Okay, it's about an hour and a half later. We're about an hour and a half into this, so let's check this out. Let's see if we can see how our fish is doing. We're looking pretty good. About ready. I'm not gonna glaze it or anything else like that because I already have enough sugar on there, but she's looking pretty good. And we're gonna take this off, let it cool down, and we're ready to eat. Well, that was a lot of work, but you know something, the reward, it definitely is great. So our salmon's done, as you can see. I like my salmon with maybe just a little bit of cheese on the side. You know, I like to usually use salmon like this for salads and just to snack on. Having some company come by, so they really should love this salmon. It's with some smoked white cheese, goes great. Let's give our salmon a taste here. I like mine with a little cracker. Really good. Definitely worth the wait. So I hope you liked the video. Try it, like I said, experiment. And no two recipes are the same. So if you like it, please subscribe. And thanks again for watching. Enjoy.